Filipino animation takes another step forward on the global stage with the big screen debut of Hayop Ka in the Annecy Animation Film Festival in France. What does the recent success of Hayop Ka and Trese mean for the local animation scene? Let's find out from director Avid Liongoren and writer Manny Angeles. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Avid, let's start off with you. Before Trese, there was Hayop Ka. How significant is it that a Filipino animation film made its big screen debut in a prestigious festival in France?
Well, it's the first time ever that we competed in that festival. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal and it got really great reviews. So now it's going to other festivals afterwards. We're going to Spain and other parts of France next.
Wow, that is indeed major moves for this animation film. So Manny, a lot of hard work went into this project. I couldn't believe it. It took 4 years to make, with one sequence taking months to finish. Being on Netflix and now in the France Film Festival, this must be a dream come true.
It definitely is, Rico. We work with a small team of animators, so that's how we are able to develop our work. So that's why it kind of takes a while as well. But we are happy that we've gone this far. In fact, we were together with some of the animators from other studios in the Philippines, and I think it was a good way to meet people and present our works outside of the Philippines.
So, Avid, tell us, will there be a Hayop Ka 2? Is it already in the works?
Yeah, it's called Hayop Ka Din. So it's gonna star Jerry the Frog this time around. Yes, it's in the works.
So will it take another 4 years before we see Hayop Ka Din?
Pretty much.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how long an animated film takes to make.
That long. So, so Manny, there have been a handful of animated feature films that have been locally produced. You have the likes of Orduha, RPG Metanoia, and Saving Sally, and now Hayop Ka, followed by the Trese series. You think this is a huge stepping stone for bigger things in original Filipino content animation?
I think so, Rico. Anytime that we are able to produce work from our backyard and show it to the world is really something that we can be proud of. And the fact that there are already a number of animation works and hopefully more from our studio, I hope that is a good sign for the works that are being produced out of the Philippines.
Absolutely. I mean, with Hayop Ka and Trese coming out on international digital platforms in less than a year, this is really indeed a milestone. But, you know, Avid, do we have good enough storylines to produce more original animation for the international market?
We have a lot. Actually, recently in the Annecy Festival, it wasn't just us who was there. We were together with a lot of comiqueros. You know, as you know, Trese is based on comics, and there are a lot of great comics out there that are just waiting to be adapted. And one of our next projects is actually an adaptation of another comic, which is called Jaja Zaturna. So yeah, we have untapped resources just waiting to be adapted and shown to the rest of the world.
But you know what, Manny, there's some criticism online that professional voice actors should voice the characters and not celebrities, so don't really have the experience. And Hayop Ka features the voices of Angelica Panganiban, Robin Padilla, and Sam Milby. How do they cope during the recording? And do they really have what it takes to be voice actors?
Inside the studio, Rico, it was really a lot of fun, and it was something like they're they're bringing their acting chops from real filmmaking into the studio. So I kind of wouldn't agree that celebrities are not fit into the animation world. In fact, they bring in something very new. So at the same time that they bring in something very new, they're also bringing in something of experience from doing their previous filmmaking. So I think they're very fit into the animation world.
How important?
Acting is acting.
Yeah, Avid, please.
Yeah, so acting is acting and directing is directing. So it's a matter of really directing the vocal performance. And yeah, so um so celebrity, and also, animation in the Philippines is really at the very beginning stage. So we need the help of familiar names to get people interested in the work that we're doing. So there's that.
But of course, you've already made a name for yourself on the international stage, and not a lot of people know that animation in the Philippines goes close to 3 decades back. I was talking to the CEO of Toon City, Miguel de Rosario, and his company has already produced a lot of films for Disney,
Yes.
such as Aladdin, Kim Possible, and the Legends of Tarzan. So, I mean, with local animation, we can really leap forward with the technology that is already presented to us.
Yeah, there's actually a huge difference between what Toon City is doing outsourced work. So that's, we have a robust industry with it in terms of that. But what's very new is creating original work from the Philippines to be sent out, as opposed to doing outsourced work. So, in the 100 years of Philippine cinema, there's only been less than a dozen animated feature films, just to show you how young creating animation is in our country. Creating, it's very different from doing animation work from big studios when we do the labor here in the Philippines. It's a lot like the BPO industry, except for art.
And briefly, Manny, before we let both of you go, where do we see Filipino animation over the next 5 years?
I think where we left off at Annecy, there's a lot of excitement from all the animation studios, even as down south in Cebu. So it was the perfect opportunity in Annecy for studios like us and for the other artists to present the work that we have had in our brains and in our computers, and finally to show it to people from the bigger studios if you really would like to carry or adapt our work. So I think we are on the right track, and it's looking good for the next 5 years.
And everyone is excited with, of course, Hayop Ka and Trese getting international recognition. Thank you so much for joining us, Avid Yongoren and Manny Angeles.